My name's Andy Spragg from the Sangha House, and this short video is going to introduce you to Buddhist meditation. It's going to talk about some of the challenges of Buddhist meditation, what stops people from making progress, and also some basic directions and approaches. One of the most common difficulties that people anticipate with meditation is how they cope with thoughts. Lots of people who come say, my mind is too busy, I can't shut it up, I can't stop the thoughts. So we're going to talk about this particular challenge and others. What I must stress here is what we're going to talk about is not neuroscience. We're looking at essentially at a Buddhist model of the mind, Buddhist psychology if you like. The first thing to get to grips with is the nature of mind and these thoughts that run through it actually. If we're going to make progress, we've got to have a sense of acceptance for the nature of mind. And you can draw an image that's similar to the layers of the sea. So on the top layer, you've got big waves crashing. It's a very noisy environment. And our mind is like that. We have what I call the juggernaut thoughts flowing through. Those which really pull us in, cause us trouble if you like. Drop down a layer in the ocean and you actually have a layer of foam. And the mind is very similar. If you experience this layer in meditation, you'll find lots of tiny little thoughtlets firing up all the time. Little snips of conversation, memory of a person, etc. And it really is the key and the access point to the deep subconscious in the mind, this layer. Then in the ocean, underneath, drop down about 6 feet and you've got the deep calm blue. And the mind is the same. The calmness of the mind is always there. But in order to reach it, we have to have a sense of acceptance for those top two layers. They don't go away. The thoughts still come. What we have to do is learn to accept them and let them go. A way to do this is to split our picture of the mind up into 3 areas. The first one is called manas, and this is mind, essentially. And it's the part of the mind that does all the thinking, the worrying, the planning, the scheming, etc. Probably the part of the mind you're most familiar with. The second part is what we call the store consciousness. And actually, essentially this is memory, but it's much more than that, because it's the full store consciousness of our entire body. So in other words, those physical traits that we also have, physical habit as well as mental habit. The third area we call the gardener, and it's the part of the mind that can just quietly watch the other two pieces at work. It can see the manas, the thinking part, drawing on the store consciousness and making conclusions about what it sees and what it feels. It is this part of the mind, the gardener, the watcher, that we're seeking to get in touch with in meditation. Before we go on though, let's talk about why we meditate. Meditation leads to essentially what is an understanding of our mind. We learn why we're challenged in life, because we are all the time. No matter how successful we are, no matter what we have in our life, we're still challenged. And we're challenged not because of the things that happen to us, but actually through meditation we start to understand that we're challenged because of our reaction to the things that happen to us. So if we can change that reaction, we start to ease the challenge in our lives. This is what meditation is really about. Buddhist practice packages up the types of challenge we see in life. And the Buddha realized there are 4 main pairings of challenge. Some of them are obvious, some of them less. The first one is pleasure versus pain. Yes, we have pleasure in our lives, but we also unfortunately have to suffer pain every now and then. The second area, gain versus loss, and this comes in many different variants. We can gain money, we can lose money, we can gain friends, we can lose friends. Then we have fame versus disgrace. And the final one is praise versus blame. Those two quite often come together actually. So these 4 pairings are quite often what cause us the challenge in our lives. We go after the things we like, we push away the things we don't like. So by starting to see the interplay of these pairings, we start to more understand the way our mind is reacting. What is it that gets in the way of meditation? We all start off with a sense of excitement. We've discovered this new thing and we're going to do it. That's called emotional engagement. And next we have our tenacity that keeps us going. Day after day we sit on the cushion. But then things get difficult and we start to feel blocked by something. Now again, actually the Buddha identified 5 different areas essentially that hold back our progress in meditation. The first one is sense desire. We're looking for something that's more exciting, more interesting, if you like. And the second aspect is ill will and aversion. So we're pushing away feelings of discomfort or boredom. The third, laziness, sloth, torpor. These essentially are where we just feel sleepy and our progress is kind of very, very slow and boring. Fourth is restlessness and worry. This is where our outside life interferes and we start to think, well, actually, it's more important that I do something about what I'm worried about rather than sitting here on the cushion. And the fifth area is doubt. We doubt that it's going to work for us. We doubt that we have the capability to make the change. We have many doubts. So these 5 areas are the real blockers to meditation. When these blocks occur, what comes with them is emotion. Let's have a little look at emotion. Emotion is essentially made up of 2 main elements plus a result. The first main element are the thoughts that go with it. This is our justifications, if you like, for the emotion. When we have an emotion, our mind tends to justify why we're feeling like that. Those are the thoughts. Second area is the actual energy of the emotion itself. This doesn't occur in the head. It occurs down in the stomach and the heart space. It's a pure feeling. In order to examine this, we take away the thoughts. We don't even label or identify the emotion. We just feel how we feel in our gut and our heart space. These two play off each other. When the emotion emerges in the stomach or the heart space, the thoughts pile in to justify them. And then the feeling, the energy gets bigger and the thoughts get bigger and they keep spiraling. In order to deal with them, we have to break that cycle. Notice the way the thoughts are feeding the emotional energy and just focus on the energy. And then the thoughts start to go quiet and we start to smooth out the effect of this cycle. Because of course there is a third aspect to emotion, and that is our actions that come out of it. Anger often has interesting actions which arise. So I'm going to lead you through a short meditation now. It's called the body scan. It's an ideal entry-level meditation, focuses on the body. So get yourself nicely set up, make sure you're not going to be disturbed by anybody. Make sure you turn that phone off. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed, turn your phone off. Okay, so settling down into your posture, just relaxing into it. And take a moment just to ease yourself forwards and backwards on your seat until you can feel your posture just resting over the top of your sitting bones. You should feel that the upper body can just relax into its own structure. So it's not having to hold itself. Gently close the eyes and have the gaze slightly downcast as if it's below the horizon. And this will help with the concentration in the meditation. Just relax into it for the moment. Tune in to your space around you. Feel it. Let sounds just come to you passively. And you may find even this early in the meditation, the mind wants to play, wants to take you away. When it does, just notice that, smile at it, and come back into your present moment. Now we're going to start the body scan, and while we do this, you are looking for direct experience. So try to stay away from expectation or imagination of what you think you should be feeling. You're looking for actual sensations in the body. So take the mind down into the feet and feel as much as you can. You may feel contact with the ground, temperature. Across the surface of the skin, if you tune in, you might feel little tiny sparks of energy. And nothing is static. It's changing all the time. Just noticing all of that, seeing what you can feel. See if you can feel sensations inside the feet, and the bones and the sinews and the muscles. Work across the soles of the feet, up over the heel, and then working up through the ankle bones. As you travel through the body, look out for tension, and when you find it, soften into it. Relax the muscles, let go of tension. Working up through the shins and the calf muscles. All the time, really tune into those sensations and letting go of tension. And we come up into the knees. Soften into your experience here, feeling as much as you can. The kneecaps behind the knees. Now as you gently travel through the body, you may find areas of discomfort or pain. If that happens, just notice how you react. Notice how tension builds around the area. You perhaps try and push it away, avoid it. So instead, soften into the experience. A sense of friendship towards the area. Study the experience. See what it's actually like. You may find it's not as bad as you thought. If you need to move, do so gently and mindfully, settling back into the posture afterwards. Take the mind along the thighs and the hamstrings, again relaxing any tension. See if you can feel the contact of your clothing perhaps. And then you come up into the sitting bones. Here, really let go into the seat. Feel yourself relaxing into the seat, supported by the earth. Feeling all of that. And as you do this, allow the head to float up a little and feel a sense of strength come into the spine. When we have this strength in the spine, we have a sense of intent in the mind, an intent to stay with the practice. Now Now gently become aware of the stomach and the heart space. Feel the sensations there. See what you can feel. Come back up to the shoulders and let tension drain out. Quite often, we carry the tension of our day in our shoulders. Let it drain out. And take the awareness down the arms, down into the hands and the fingers. Lots of sensation here. Come back up to the head and see what you can find across the scalp. You might feel temperature differences, little tingling energy. See if you can become aware of the hair follicles. Soften in the face. Let go of tension. We carry our lives in our faces. It's amazing how much tension's there. Picture a compassionate gaze behind the eyes. And let that ease out the frown and ease out the tension around the eyes. Gentle smile on the lips. Bring all of these sensations in the body together. A complete experience of your body sitting in your space. Just focusing on that experience of your body in its entirety, sitting in this moment.